Welcome to Career Center's webinar on how to craft an effective elevator pitch. My name is Anna Litman, and I'm a career advisor for College of Arts and Sciences, as well as for School of Education, and I work at AU Career Center. So today we have a busy agenda. So we will talk about how to make an effective elevator pitch, whether in virtual situations or non-virtual situations. We will talk about what an elevator pitch is, why we should craft various elevator pitches, that one elevator pitch, general elevator pitch, is not enough. How to nail it. And also we will talk about how to stand out at the virtual fall job and internship fair that will happen on Handshake platform on September 23rd from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. So I'm planning to present for about 25 minutes. Then I will give you a brief overview of additional resources. And then I think we will have plenty of time to address your specific questions. So please use chat and Q&A functions. And then after I finish my presentation, I will address your questions. Well, before we start, let me tell you a few words about myself. I've been a career advisor at AU for more than 12 years. I love my job because it gives me an opportunity to coach students and help them become confident in reaching out to employers, get hired, and start building successful careers. So I myself had several careers before coming to AU. I was a school teacher, I was a translator, and I was a consultant at the World Bank. And there I worked on large-scale international projects, interacted with multiple teams and organizations. And those experiences helped me understand hiring practices, professional dynamic, and mostly important, how to stand out to hiring managers. So introducing yourself to a potential employer, starting a professional conversation, that's not easy. What to say, what not to say, how to attract their attention and market yourself, but at the same time, not to come across as an arrogant person. These are all legitimate concerns, I get it. So I've prepared 5 simple tips for you that I hope will help you feel confident in talking to employers at the upcoming job and internship fair, as well as in any networking situation, on or offline. So please stay, listen, and ask me questions. So I think that you probably guessed that I tried kind of my version of an elevator pitch. So the purpose of that elevator pitch was to convince you to stay and listen to my advice. So you probably noticed that my elevator pitch was pretty long, more than 1 minute. I kind of deliberately decided to make it long because the format of introducing myself, I think, kind of lend itself to a longer version. I wanted to give you more specific details about my experience. That's why I used 12 years. I talked about my work at the World Bank. I wrote my my elevator pitch. Well, actually, I kind of wrote points that I would like to hit. And then I practiced several times saying it out loud. So I tried to not to sound robotic. I tried to smile. Well, that's all. As I said, I understand that's all not easy to accomplish. But let me tell you a little bit more about what is an elevator pitch. This kind of term, I think it originated many years, maybe even several decades ago. And the the roots were more in marketing and sales pitch, and also in some career coaches were at that time saying that if you get an elevator and there you see a manager or CEO of a company, that's such an incredible luck. So you should grab that luck, and you have a very short, even if you are in a high riser, but still it's a quite short elevator ride to use this opportunity to your advantage. So to kind of to start a conversation, to become kind of with a hope that boss, that manager will remember you. Well, we go right now into an elevator. We're all in masks, so probably not such a great opportunity to become memorable, to start a conversation. Well, let's still use the words elevator pitch. We kind of we know that it's not about an elevator, but it's about a short professional introduction with a purpose to get attention of a recruiter, a hiring manager, or a potential professional connection. And there are plenty of opportunities where you would need to introduce yourself, and it will be great to introduce yourself professionally. So job and internship fairs, for example. Yes, for now they are virtual. Hopefully they will become not only virtual, but non-virtual as well. There are employee meetups, again, for now virtual, networking receptions, informational interviews, and conferences and presentations. So what's an elevator pitch now, these days? It's still a short professional introduction, but it can be presented, delivered, not only kind of orally, but also in writing, in an email or in chat, if you are in a group sessions, for example, or information session, information group sessions. So it still should be relatively short. 30 seconds or up to 1 minute, or if you write it, should be short, maybe about 30 words. But the purpose remains the same, either it's online or offline, is to get attention of a recruiter, a hiring manager, or a potential professional connection. Well, you may ask me, Anna, do I really need to actively promote myself to get a job? Can I just send my resume? Well, I need to tell you that there is data that tells us that about 8 out of 10 jobs are found through networking with recruiters, with alums, with professionals. So let's start kind of perfecting our professional skills of initiating professional conversation, talking and starting this introducing yourself professionally to these potential in the potential networking opportunities. So let me tell you about 2 key attributes of an effective elevator pitch. So first, it should be customized. It should be targeted at your audience. And it should be short, sweet, and enticing. So think of an appetizer. It just kind of, wake up your appetite, right? It could be a small appetizer, or maybe a little bit on a heavy side. Well, my appetizer, my elevator pitch was probably on a more heavy side. So then let's also talk about what a bad elevator pitch is. It's all about me. That's, kind of the elevator pitch that is like a really long, really all again about me without thinking whether it's relevant to the employer or not. It's just my kind of bio. Or sometimes people start kind of, thinking out loud during their short professional introduction, some kind of expressing their thoughts, their doubts. That's not good. Also, don't make it too short. Remember, it should be, yes, it should be short, but it should be enticing. So it should have enough kind of stuff, enough content in it to make the person who you start talking, make this person want to continue a conversation with you. So another kind of not a good elevator pitch or an introduction is when person gives just facts, kind of unrelated, and they're all memorized, and that person sounds robotic. Would you like to continue this conversation with a person who introduces themselves in that way? Probably not. Probably you will be looking for another opportunity to connect with another one who will be more interesting to talk to. So let's start cooking, or as it was in the title of our webinar, let's start crafting our effective elevator pitch. So we need ingredients, we need tools. Let's go and do that. So the first tip that I would like to give you is about how to start this preparation. So I would suggest that you start by analyzing 3 things. So the format of your interaction, what your audience wants to hear, and your objectives. So let's analyze the format of a virtual job internship fair. Specifically, individual meetings with employers. So the format of such individual meetings is the following. So it's kind of short interaction, only 10 minutes. So which means that you don't have much time to attract and grab employers' attention. So you need to produce a good impression right off the bat. So what does the employer want to hear? Why they're there at these individual meetings? Well, they want to find an intern or an employee. So they are looking for relevant skills as well as for right attitude. So you need to analyze what are those skills and right attitudes for this employer or for another employer. They may be, those skills and attitudes may be different. So what is your objective? Do you want to be invited to an interview? Do you just want to network for future opportunities? So what should you then pitch? What questions should you ask? So having analyzed that, we can think of a design of our elevator pitch. So it can be as long as mine in the beginning of this webinar. You don't have that much time, only 10 minutes. So it should be short, but at the same time, not very short, because you want to say something that it will attract and grab attention of the employer and kind of entice this employer to continue having conversation with you after the job fair. So it's probably good length, maybe about 1 minute. So that comes to 4 or 7 sentences. So you may want to include 1 or 2 relevant skills, the skills that are relevant to this employer, or maybe some related experiences, maybe accomplishments, 1 or 2, and your career interest. All of that should be connected to that specific employer you will be talking to during these 10 minutes. So if you plan to attend several individual meetings with employers, I would highly recommend that you customize your EP accordingly. So my second tip is about organizing the content. And I would like to tell you that, that stories are better than just kind of, facts. Even short stories, not easy to design, but I will recommend that you try to do it. Just attempt to do it. So you can organize that story as a story around past, present, and future, your future career goals. So you can try different combinations. You can start with present, then kind of go back to past, and then link into the future, Or you can start with the future, with your future goals, talk about present, and then tell about how your interests, started. So as a story, it should have beginning, middle, and end. And use connectors like when I, because, that's why. So let me try to show you such a story. So when I was preparing this webinar, I went to Handshake and I found an employer, and the employer is Shepherd Pratt Health Systems. So I kind of, and decided that for the sake of this example, I will be soon to be graduate with Bachelor in Science in Health Promotion. So let me try it on you. So hi, my name is Anna. I'm graduating in December with Bachelor of Science in Health Promotion. When I started volunteering about 15 months ago in a virtual support group for single mothers, I became really passionate about wellness and mental health. So I see myself in 5 years as an occupational therapist for people with mental health needs. And that's why I was so excited to learn that the occupational therapy practice originated in Shepherd Pratt 100 years ago. So for now, I'm intrigued by the direct support professional position that it was listed on Handshake with your organization. So could you tell me more about this position? So what I tried to do here, I tried to, I researched the employer, I looked at their website, I found that that kind of interesting history fact about occupational therapy practice originating in this with Shepherd Pratt. I connected it to my future goal, and I gave facts, but I also talked about some of my previous experience that helped me find or narrow down my passion, my career interest, which would be wellness and mental health. I was thinking to mention maybe some of the skills that I learned through health promotion, as well as through my volunteering experience. But then I decided that, you know what, this is a starter. So hopefully it will be enough to start the conversation, and then we can have a productive 8 minutes of that 10-minute meeting, and then I will have an opportunity to mention 1 or 2 of my skills. So I can really, I can't say enough about that. Researching employers really helps to create interesting introductions. So now let's talk a little bit about short elevator pitches that you can use when you participate, not in individual meetings, but in group sessions. So I would suggest that it probably should be 1 or 2 sentences. Well, no, sorry, probably about 3 sentences, 3 or 4, because you would need to give your name, like a major or minor and year of graduation. So it will be 1 or 2 sentences. Then relevant interest, probably another sentence, and then relevant question, another sentence. And don't forget to add thank you. So you can actually write your EP for group sessions in advance and then drop it in the group chat during the group meeting. But maybe you don't need to write maybe you will then change that question, or maybe you don't need to write a question in advance, because in the course of the session you can come up with a more relevant question. Or maybe it's good to have something kind of in mind, and that will help kind of alleviate the stress that everyone feels when they participate in any of the kind of networking formats. So, okay, that's an example that I've again prepared for you, again based on Shepard Pratt employer. So, hi, my name is Anna. I am graduating in December with Bachelor of Science in Health Promotion. I'm very interested in helping people with mental health needs. What skills are you looking for in successful candidates for the direct support professional position? Thank you. I think it's easy to read, kind of scan through this question. And you know what all employers do? They pay attention who participate in chats, because they understand that those people who participate and ask questions, they are people who are interested in them, in the employer. And that's huge for the employer. Instead of just kind of plowing through multiple applications, it helps them to make their hiring much more effectively when they focus on people who have reached out to them, expressed their interest. So my next tip number 3 is how to craft and how to practice. So I would suggest that you write your either longer EP or short EP, and then, prepare to edit it, prepare to edit it several times, just, finding more, maybe more better connectors, and maybe, more kind of a better flow, kind of play with this, what I said, present, future, past. So find your kind of voice. It takes a little bit of time, but once you've done it for one employer, then customizing it for other employers will become easier and faster. I would definitely suggest that you practice saying it when you are in the situation, when you would be presenting yourself in person. But at the same time, don't over rehearse. You don't want to come out like a robotic. So a couple more hacks. So as I said, so for myself, I didn't write full sentences. I just kind of wrote talking points. I would suggest that you, when you practice, kind of record yourself and do it 3 times, and look, and kind of when you present, look into kind of different, directions. So talk to, just imagine the audience is here, and, practice at one time, then look at the window and practice it again, look at the door, and again, practice again. So when you deliver it, don't be in a hurry. Make short pauses, smile, emphasize important points. Tip number 4, connected to the actual kind of presentation. So be in the moment. Maybe you've prepared an amazing elevator pitch. You've written it down, you edited, you came up with a great story, you practice it, and then you start saying it. You say that I'm graduating in December with bachelor's in science in health promotion, and then the employer says, oh really, my niece graduated with the same degree 2 years ago. And then, okay, that's kind of, that happens. So what are you doing? Are you just picking up and then continuing in your story? I would say no, just maybe ask, about the niece, and maybe then start, and then the conversation will go a little bit different. That's okay. Remember, it's just the beginning. It's just this little appetizer. Okay, so your appetizer will become really, really short. That's okay. The most important is that you connect with the employer or with any other kind of professional that you are introducing yourself to. Oh, I think I clicked too fast. So I had a tip number 5, and that tip number 5 was that it's about, again, emphasizing that tip number 4, that elevator pitch is just the beginning. So what you need to do is you need to enjoy the opportunity to connect with the employer, be excited about this opportunity to introduce yourself. Try to focus on that positive excitement. And I hope that it will help you become genuine and less kind of stressed and less kind of fearful of that interaction. So there are 4 additional resources that I wanted to mention today. They're all on YouTube, on our Career Center's channel. So please go and subscribe to that channel and find the previous workshops. They were produced by my colleagues, and I think they are wonderful, and you can learn more tips from them in addition to what you've heard from me today. And then also I found quite a good like a blog on Handshake, on elevator pitch for college students. So I would suggest that you would also look at it as well. Okay, and I think this looks like my last comment that I wanted to make today before I open up our chat and Q&A session for your questions. I wanted to share with you that professional networking can happen anywhere. So that networking that could be really useful in your learning more about different organizations, about opportunities, and maybe even in getting a job. So it's good to be prepared for such unexpected interactions. So therefore, what I would suggest that wherever you go, just don't forget to pack a pack of your elevator pitches. And now I would like to thank you very much for your attention. And I don't see any chats or any questions in chat or Q&A. So I hope that you have some questions, and I think we have time. Yes, we have 25 minutes. So I'll be happy to answer questions, and maybe we can kind of brainstorm some specific situations together. So please use this opportunity right now. Or if you would like to ask a specific question kind of through individually, like directly, please email me. My email is Litman, Litman @american.edu. I don't see any questions. Okay, they start coming. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, so let me. Okay, have any advice on how to carry on the conversation during the 10 minutes? Yes. So when you introduce yourself and you ask a question, so the employer will tell you something. So think you need to be, we call it active listening, right? You need to be actively listening and thinking either about a kind of a follow-up question, or maybe there will be an opportunity in the employer's response, an opportunity to mention your relevant skill or relevant experience. So the employers are there because they're really interested in candidates. So if your initial kind of introduction kind of shows that you know about the employer, that you are excited to have this opportunity to interact, they will ask you questions. I try to imagine the situation that employer is very passive and then kind of looking at you and then waiting for you to continue. Okay, maybe that will happen, so that's okay. So you need to have kind of, again, prepared some skills that you would like to mention, some experiences, and that's what you would then start describing. And again, with an example, and then again, just thinking about, and that's what, that's the preparation is important, is to what skills you will be marketing, what skills you will be mentioning. And then again, another question to an employer about whether those skills are relevant, or are there any other qualifications that are important, or you can have maybe one or maybe 2 or 3 questions that you will ask the employer. So it's not, you will see that 10 minutes will go very, very fast. So I hope that this is kind of helpful. Let me look at another. I have 2 more questions. So then one is that thanking me for the session. Thank you so much for attending. And then during this session, I will read out the questions so that it will be maybe helpful to other participants as well. So during this session, is it necessary I state my work experience outside of the US as I'm an international student. I think that's if that experience is relevant for this employer, I would definitely recommend that you talk about your experience. What matters is that you have an experience and that you have in preparation to this interaction with the employer, you've figured out what is important for the employer and what is not. Students, I would say many, not only students, but many people, they kind of make that mistake of, telling too much about their work experience. And that could be a mixture of some, relevant information and not relevant information. And sometimes that kind of dilutes the effect. So it's your job as a job seeker to to research, analyze your experience, you know it better than anyone else, your academic preparation, and then talk about the most relevant examples. So that's what I would like to suggest. I hope it's helpful. Okay, any other questions? Okay, there's okay, thank you for all the information and advice. Thank you so much for attending and listening. And again, I'm wishing you the best of luck. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me directly. So we still have plenty of time before the job and internship fair. And this is such a good opportunity to practice those skills, talking to employers, having this conversation and virtually. So I hope that all of you will attend and will use this opportunity for various reasons. Practicing your networking skills, or getting an internship or a job, or learning about employers, all those reasons are good. Okay, thank you. have a couple more participants left, so if you would like to ask questions, I'm here. Well, okay, since there are no more questions, thank you again. And please stay tuned for more webinars coming to you from our wonderful Career Center. Thank you. Bye-bye.